Hello everybody and welcome to another hairstyling tutorial. So the tip that I'm going to share with you today is about fixing stray hairs and splits that happen in your pompadour. So very often what happens when you style your hair is that you'll be styling a pompadour in any fashion that you like, and then you go to form it and bring it forward, and then hairs start to fall down. Now this is a very common thing that happens quite a bit, and a very easy way to solve it, other than just kind of slicking your hair back and starting all over again, which is a proper way that it can work, but one way to solve this problem is that what I do is get a finer tooth comb and very lightly comb your hair up and push the strays back without messing up all the hair. So that's first thing how you change big splits, because that are big hairs that fall down. Now when a split happens, and I know this usually more happens on the go, when you have a big gust of wind come by and it messes your hair up and you get a split that happens, or your hair falls down. And you don't want to have to go rearrange your entire hair just for one little split that happens in your hair just because it got a little bit messed up. So you get your pocket comb or whatever you have with you, and just like that before, very lightly comb it. Don't put a lot of force into it because you don't want to mess up and lose that shape. So very light with all of your movements, because you're only changing a little bit of that hair. You're not making any drastic changes. You want to keep that same shape. So you just very lightly comb it. So you see I had a split right there, and I just combed it up and got it all uniform. Now the next kind of hair sticking up in splits that I want to talk about are the sides of your head. So I have very thick hair that likes to stick up and is pretty unruly unless I have a good amount of length to it. So whenever I get a low taper, or like before when I got a razor fade, I had to manage it and kind of get a little bit differently to style it so I'll know what to do. So the best way to get hairs to lay down on the side of your head is a boar brush. Now this boar hairbrush I got at Sally's for $3, and they're pretty easy to find, and it's a brush that's made out of boar hair, and it helps to really get stuff to stick down really well. So this is what I do for the sides of my head. So I have all these hairs. If you look very closely, they love to just stick up. And I take my boar hairbrush, and first I lay them straight down. So now they start to cooperate a little bit more. Then I take a fine tooth comb and comb them back from that downed position. So that is how I get my hairs to lay down and stick more closely to your head, so you get a lot more of a tight shape. Now the very last forms of splitting that I want to talk about is one that happens towards the back of your pompadour. Now if you're using an afro pick or a wide tooth comb, this happens more often than not. So you're combing your pompadour and getting it all ready, and you get it just the way that you like it up in the front, and it looks great up top. But then towards the back, you got all these hairs that don't like to stay down. So then you take another comb and try to comb them down, and it pulls everything back, and your pompadour isn't forward anymore. And that's a big problem, because you always want your pompadour forward. So let's get to that same exact place that we were at, where it's nice and forward, but we have all these hairs sticking up in the back. So an easy way to fix this is to make sure that you hold your hair down and put some pressure on there to where you don't want your hair to get pulled back. Then you take your comb, and with a lot of force you pull it down and push down pretty hard with your opposite hand to make sure that the rest of it doesn't move. And then lift it up, and there you go. So now you have these hairs slicked back, and this part is still nice and forward. So I hope these tips helped. So these are just a few tips that I have that help me fix splits, stray hairs, and getting hairs to lay down. So there you have it.